Hey guys, Max here, bringing you a Battlefield 1 gameplay today, and basically, this video is basically as what it says in the title, World War 1 facts about tanks that maybe you might not know. Maybe you do know, I don't know, but I'm just going to give you some little facts, and if you didn't know any of these facts, give me a thumbs up, just to let me know that you didn't know these facts. But anyway, as you guys can see, one of my favourite things to do on Battlefield is to jump in a tank. It's a killing machine. Obviously, it's very effective, and it was very effective in World War One as well. And coming to fact number one is that the first ever tank prototype was actually called Little Willie, and it was developed in 1915 by British scientists and inventors, obviously. And it was the first World War One tank. It actually came in weighing 16 tons and measured 80 meters long. I mean, 16 tons. That weighs a lot. And they wonder why tanks were very slow during World War One. They weighed so much. And obviously the first tank being called Little Willie, and he weighs 16 tons. Imagine having a Willie that weighed 16 tons. It's not a little Willie. That's a big Willie. But 16 tons. No wonder it had a speed of just pretty much over 4 miles per hour, or just under one of them, I don't know, but that's the reason why tanks were so slow back then, because they just weighed so much. And obviously tanks probably weighed a little bit less in World War Two. They were much faster. Well, they had so much more years to experiment with tanks, but first being Little Willie, weighing in at 16 tons is an absolute joke. Though coming into fact number two is that don't know if you knew, but tanks actually had genders, males to females. And you're thinking, hey, tank's a tank, how can one tank be a female and another one be a male? Well, in World War One, that was the case. They were males and they were female tanks, and the male tanks had cannons attached to them, where the female had machine guns. So if you look at the land ship on Battlefield 1, the one that we use, the one with the cannons on the sides, that was actually a male. It's a male version of that tank. Whereas what tank ever, I don't know, I don't really play a lot of tanks with machine guns, but that was a female. I don't know if you can just get a tank with just machine guns on this game. Maybe you can get a variant of the land ship where you can change it just to machine guns, but that would be very boring. I don't really like using the land ship. I prefer using this tank that I'm using right now. But yeah, tanks, female, male. Did you know that? No, I didn't know that until I read it earlier. Pretty crazy. Absolutely crazy. Obviously, we're gonna get into fact number three right now. Is the first time tanks appeared in World War One. Now, I'm very sorry if I absolutely brutalized this name. I am not very good at pronouncing names that I've never read before or heard. Never heard this name. And tanks actually first appeared at the Battle of Flaines Corrales in September of 1916. Now, again, I apologise if I brutalised that name. Yeah, like I said, I'm not very well at pronouncing names I've never heard. But anyway, I was just going on. Tanks were first produced into battle in September of 1916. It was the first time tanks had ever been used in any military conflict whatsoever, and the British sent in 49 tanks into that battle. Just imagine that, obviously the war's been going on for 2 years. During the trench warfare, obviously it was stalemate. Yeah, armies were not moving at all. You just, you wake up that morning and think, oh god, here we go again, another day of just shooting over and just hoping to hit someone. And you hear the whistle for the men to go over the trenches, and instead, you're not getting men that's coming over these trenches, you're getting these 49 tanks just appearing out of nowhere, and you're thinking, what the fuck are these absolute beasts of machines coming towards you? I mean, you must have been scared. Obviously, you've been thinking, what the fuck is going on here? Oh, I don't know, but you know, you expecting something. Well, you're expecting men to come over. You're not expecting these. However much they weighed again. How much did they weigh? They weighed a lot. Like I was saying, they weighed in at 16 tons. You know, seeing these 16 tons of machines coming into the trenches, obviously followed by British infantry behind them, which was another reason. This is not a actual. Well, it is a fact, but it's not going to be counted as a fact. It's just going to be counted this. Obviously, at the battle, blah 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 blah. It was tanks were also used to get rid of barbed wire, so it would. So the infantry could easily come back in after it, and obviously, you know, World War tanks were slow, very very slow, 4 miles per hour. That's not very fast. So you know, the Germans were watching this for the first time, coming at you at 4 miles an hour. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can run faster than 4 miles per hour. I don't know. Maybe you can. Maybe you can't. I don't know. But you know, be scared. Just imagine. It's something that we're never gonna imagine because well, we can imagine, but it's nothing we're gonna ever experience because obviously we're not World War One. That would have been pretty scary. Um. I've done the females, males, variants. Yeah, blah 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 blah. It's fact number 4. It was the British actually made over 2,600 tanks by the end of the war, where the Germans actually made about 10. I think it was about 10. I don't know. I should have definitely done some more research into this before. I have done the research, but I've kind of screenshot on my phone. I'm getting all confused. Um, in November of 1917, all 474 tanks of the British Tank Corps fought at the Battle of Cambrai. Again, I apologise if I absolutely brutalised that name. But yeah, 474 tanks fought at that battle. The French and the US armies were so impressed with the tanks at that battle that they actually started developing their own tanks. So the British Army were the only nation in the whole world to have tanks until 1917, where French and the US Army started to develop their own tanks. That's pretty scary. Yeah, Britain, the only nation at the time to have tanks, and yeah, you know, Germans, they didn't appreciate the you know, the value of armored fighting vehicles at the time. Um, and that was a mistake that they would not repeat in World War Two, to be honest, because they had a lot of tanks in World War Two compared to what they did have in World War One. I mean, by the end of the war, that the tank that you know Britain, like I said, mass produced over 2,600 tanks, while the Germans only made 20 tanks all in all. That's pretty crazy to think that the British Army managed to conjure up 2,600 tanks, while the Germans only produced 20. That's super crazy. And another little known fact here that we're gonna, because we're nearly on this video, is that during the battle or in 1918, the Battle of Amers, again, apologise if I brutalised it. The Germans actually got really good at destabilizing, destroying these tanks, and actually destroyed 70% of the Allied tanks in just 4 days. Crazy, whatever. They destroyed these tanks, and they got very good at destroying the tanks. But here comes the crazy part. Obviously, I was saying that the British had produced over 2,600 tanks. By the end of the war, the British Tank Corps only had 8 serving tanks left. So they're destroying a lot of tanks. I know they produced a lot of tanks, but obviously they weren't very effective. They were slow, so they were easy targets. And we only had 8 tanks left in service by the end of the war. Obviously, you guys can see me in this tank here. This was a German-made tank. It was the only German-made tank. It's obviously on this game it's known as the heavy tank, but in real life it's known as the A7V. It's my favourite tank to use on this game. I'm not a big fan of the Landship. It weighs in at 13 tons, and it was designed to cross ditches up to 1.5 meters. It's crazy. Anyway, guys, that's going to be the end of the video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you didn't know any of these facts, give it a like. Don't forget to comment and subscribe. And I'm sorry if I butchered the names. I'm really sorry. I hope you really enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to give it a like. If you didn't know any of these facts, give it a like. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks, guys. Peace.